In a moment, you're going to see my movie called Mystic Journey to India, which is quite an adventure, a spiritual adventure, into what is called the Naadi Oracle. This is an oracle that was written thousands of years ago that predicts the future of anybody that will consult it, as well as the future of the world in some cases. So it's full of some fascinating stuff, which I wrote about originally in my book called Messages from the Universe. And in Messages from the Universe, I tell the story, but also it tells me that I've got to go to India to do these remedies to clear my past negative karma. And this is the story that you'll be seeing in Mystic Journey to India. Also, I've written a second book about the whole film that you're about to watch called Mystic Journey to India. And if you read that, it will tell you all about some of the background philosophy and ideas that you see in this program. Now, the fundamental thrust of what's happening now with my life because of this life-changing adventure is that I'm following the prophecy with my wife Jane to open a foundation, which we have already, that is going to open a spiritual centre to help the world and to spread some of the ideas of unity in diversity that is shown in these ideas. The coming together of many ideas. This is not religious, but this is spiritual. And Jane and I now give much of our work as mediums for free, like our public work and a lot of the work that we generate through the website and through the YouTubes. And you can help too if you become what's called a patron. If you become a patron, you can give a small donation to help with our cause, and you'll know a little bit more about that towards the end at the end of this movie. But as a patron, you can help us drive the spiritual agenda forward that we've been told about in these ancient teachings from the Naadi. And eventually, we've been told that we will get government help with this as well. But your contribution, our work too, will help to get this very inspiring project started. Anyway, enough about that. Here's Mystic Journey to India.
I have discovered a secret oracle in India that has on it the name of my mother, the name of my father, my name, my brother's name, my wife's name, all the details about my life from the moment I was born and right into the future. And it even tells me the time of my death. And to access this oracle, all it needed was my thumbprint. I'm here in India on my first mystic journey. In the UK and USA, Jane and I are known as the most psychic couple on the planet. We've had some crazy times and had the opportunity to give readings to A-list celebrities.
I really enjoyed the reading with Craig because he hit some real accuracies about my father and our relationship. They are the real deal, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm not a mind blower, by nature, but it was real.
We have both had a fruitful life and seen many mystical things, but my trip to India has certainly opened even my eyes. As psychics, we have both been invited to do many TV shows about the paranormal, but what I'm about to experience in India is absolutely astonishing. So astonishing that even my wife Jane couldn't get her head round it. Is it possible to know the future? Can my destiny really be changed? Jane and I have been to India before, but this time I face this journey alone. I'm already exhausted from the plane trip and I haven't even started yet.
Well, here we are. We're here. This is India. India's never as you expect it to be, I think. Mixture of new roads going in, really old areas, old people carrying all sorts of stuff everywhere, mad traffic as usual. Still feeling pretty tired after the journey. It's a long haul. It seems even in a big city, everywhere you look, there's gods. We saw Ganesha as we came out straight away as you come out the airport, and then there's all the gods lined up and stuff, and even adverts seem to have the gods on them. It's amazing. It's the thing with India, it seems to be everything, no matter how commercialised it gets, it seems to always retain its spiritual roots, even in even in the industrialised parts of India like Chennai is here.
I'm here in India because an ancient Indian astrological oracle says that I can influence my destiny by performing a series of rituals and charitable acts. Enjoy it while you can, Craig, because it's going to be a grueling journey. Now this Naadi Oracle, as it's called, that's driven me here, was written down some 5,000 years ago on a sort of parchment made from palm leaves. My wife Jane and I are no strangers to the paranormal, but what it said shook me to the very core of my being. Here in this nice hotel, the grime of the real India feels a long way away, but the oracle predicts that I'm about to begin a scary adventure that is going to change my life forever.
About a year ago, an Indian friend of mine called Vivek wanted to set up a new service to introduce to the West the idea of these Naadi oracles. Now, he asked me if I could test his reader for him and find out if the guy was, a fake or real, or doing what the skeptics would call cold readings and things like this. And I've tested other mediums and psychics in my time, so I seemed to be in a position where I was very well qualified to know if these people were real or not. Now, we set up a consultation on Skype, and he connected me with an Indian Nadi reader in Tamil Nadu. Well, I connected with the reader, and he started going through the leaves one at a time. They're palm leaves that have been written in Tamil, Old Tamil, translated from Sanskrit, and according to legend, been rewritten every 500 years and stretched back in time, they claim, 5,000 to 10,000 years ago. He started by going through and reading the leaves one at a time and would ask me questions, and I thought, here we go, cold reading, Are you a miner? No. Do you import precious metals for a living? No. And he went on like this with all sorts of strange questions which seemed meaningless. And then one leaf comes up and says, was your ex-wife's name Tina? Well, yes. Nobody knew that. That's something certainly not published about me anywhere. Was your mother's name Ethel? Yes. Was your father's name Donald? Yes. Is your name Craig? Yes. Were you born at 1:30 in the morning on the 24th of January 1954? Yes. And he reeled off facts like this, names of my brothers, my sisters, things that I'd done in my life. Had your father worked in this profession and that profession, and gave a whole list of not just me, but my family, things you could never research, even with the internet at your disposal. Remembering also that I'd given him no information whatsoever about who I was, so there was no way he could look this up. So you can imagine, here was a message being sent to me in a set of palm leaves that are allegedly 5,000 years old with my name written on it, and all he had was my thumbprint to go by. In a few moments I'm going to meet the Nadi leaf translator who read the first leaves for me, and the remedies for the first lot have been done, and he's going to be bringing a special amulet. When you do the reading, do you also have to look at the astrology as well, or is that in the leaf already? Is it just you read what's in the leaf?
We only read what is in the leaf. And for us, if there are some doubts, we can clarify using astrology.
I see. So you can use...
If they have some some doubts, if the astrologer has some doubts related to planetary position, it may change. Some 1 or 2%, there may be some change. So to clarify that, astrologer may use the Vedic astrology if he knows.
Okay.
Mr. Santosh makes these predictions but does not claim to be psychic or have clairvoyance. He simply translates what is said on the leaves. In my case, this included things about my life, such as the occupation of my father when I was a child, how I'd been a painter, how I'd worked in the media, the illnesses I've had in my life, how I'd been a single parent, how I had dedicated my life to working as a psychic medium, and told of my career as a writer. Mr. Santosh was one of 3 readers in different parts of India that I had contacted anonymously, and yet all 3 readers had given pretty well the exact same information and forecast with a similar destiny, including the age when I will die. Some people would find it rather worrying knowing when you're going to die and what illnesses and troubles you're going to have in the future. Mr. Santosh has done some of these remedies for me and has brought me a special talisman that was made during the fire rituals he had performed on my behalf.
Vibhuti?
Yes, Vibhuti.
And that Vibhuti is put on there afterwards, yeah? And I keep it in the Vibhuti, or...? That's from the fire, is it?
Yes, no, the talisman was taken from the fire, and after that Vibhuti was put
onto it.
Yes.
So how would I use this now? What would I do with this?
Now you can roll it. You can roll like a small cylinder, and you can buy a cylindrical taviz.
Okay.
Silver taviz, and you can put it in
so
there.
you roll it up and put it in there, and this has writing on it, I see.
Yes, it's the mantra.
So this is the mantra. This is a protective mantra.
Yes, this is the protective mantra of Lord Shiva.
Yeah. Wonderful. It's so nice to receive it in person like that too, you know. I so thank you for all the efforts you've made, and I'd love to come back again to you later on and do some more.
Okay.
Look at the leaves some further, because there's other can dams now to open, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya. Yes.
Before I start my quest and perform the remedies to clear my past life karma, I visit the holy ruins of Mahabalipuram and make a prayer to the Indian elephant god Ganesha. Mahabalipuram is an extraordinary ancient temple complex that was carved out of solid rock and granite.
So this was a cave originally, and it's been carved from the cave into a temple.
Yes.
So this would have all these stones would have stood here centuries and centuries and
7th
centuries.
century, 1400 years old. The Pallava time making.
And this is the one they carved out of the solid rock.
Yes.
To make the temple.
Olden time, Krishna buttermilk tank here.
Buttermilk.
We are making butter, put butter ball. Story.
Wow, they did it on a big scale, didn't they?
Yeah.
God. So they make masses of butter.
Yes.
And then that's used what, for blessing or?
Butter eat.
Oh, for eating. So it is actually practical.
Yeah.
So this is Vishnu. And the next one will be Shiva. So Vishnu and Shiva, and that would be Brahman?
Yes.
So why is Brahman not in the middle then?
This is always Shiva the first.
Yeah?
Vishnu, God of the predator.
Wow. They did things on scale, didn't they? I mean, that is like a lorry full of butter, isn't it? To put on the lingam.
Yeah.
They would put, I presume it would all come, you put them and be pouring all down here.
The Naadi leaves had prescribed a list of ancient temples I am to visit and perform rituals. This complex is seeping with the energy of the past and is a starting point where I can take in the wonders of India's past and also seek a blessing for a successful journey.
I believe
in Hinduism that the first creation had an elephant holding the world up?
Yeah.
So would that be like that?
Yes. Correct.
This part of the temple complex is where they used to do the oms. I can't resist this. I've got to do an om. I've got to do an om. Just as a Christian may pray to St. Christopher before starting a journey, the god Ganesha represents the aspect of the one universal God that clears the obstacles in the path. I have no problem with praying to an elephant-headed god, as I believe it's the same one God that can be found in all religions, but he, she comes in many forms. This is a divine symbolic act to clear my path. So this is the first stage of the remedies of the Naadi, and the first place I have to visit is Bhagavan Ramana's ashram. I've got a 3.5 hour drive, so it's a bumpy road. Wish me luck. An ashram is a hermitage, a spiritual retreat that is usually centred around a holy man or guru. I'm visiting one at the base of a sacred mountain called Mount Arunachala that I hope to climb, as its powerful energies are said to awaken the spirit. Ah, there's the mountain now. This is my first good look at the landscape of India. I feel excited because I'm soon to meet another Naadi reader who is going to guide me through the remedies and help me with the rituals I have to perform in the days ahead.
His first thought is to take care of you both. First health, and then the surroundings, environment, and then the travel, spiritual events, all those things.
Yes.
It might be finished.
Fortunately, Gopinath speaks reasonably good English and explains that tomorrow morning we will be walking round Mount Arunachala and visit Ramana Maharishi's ashram afterwards. We will set off at dawn. These first energetic remedies are designed to help my health now and in the future. Some of my family think I'm completely mad, but the leaves gave me such amazingly accurate information about my life that I simply cannot ignore it. There's a lot of good things ahead for me until my predicted death at 3 a.m. in the morning in the winter months as I approach about 82. But there's also a few things that I need to sort out that are the result of my karma from past lives. I make the good happen and the bad fall away, and I need to do these remedies. The first step is to build up lots of good energy, which means visiting some holy places. My first stop is the holy mountain of Arunachala and the Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi ashram at its foot. Below me, I can see the Shiva temple at Tiruvullamala, where I am tonight to perform some puja ceremonies with the priests after Mr. Prakash performs a simple remedy here on the holy mountain. On this mountain, and particularly at the dark meditation room at the top, I seem to be aware of the energy that plugs right into my mediumship abilities. Right here, and also while walking, I can feel the closeness of the spirit people near me. We've just been in the top of the mountain where there's a tremendous energy there. I'm still a little bit woozy from it. It's just the most incredible energy I've ever felt in my life. Incredible feeling. Never known anything like that. Never. As part of the rituals now, the remedies, I'm to be given a stone from the mountain. Mr. Prakash has read in my Naadi leaves that a number of these rituals have to be performed at a specific time. His astrology almanac is consulted, and now is the exact right time to get my stone. We descend the mountain path, and as we enter the ashram, are greeted by some clever monkeys. Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi, the founder of this ashram, believed in the unity of all things, and that if we ask ourselves the question, "Who am I?" we will come to realise that everything, including the person asking the question, is God. Ramana believed that animals are as much a part of God as we are.
This is the meditation hall of the Ramakrishna ashram, and we're going to spend a little bit of time now meditating in the place where Ramakrishna used to meditate.
Where I sit, I can see pictures of Ramana on the wall and a golden statue of him in the altar area. At the age of 16, Ramana had something like a near-death experience in which he entered into a state of divine consciousness and realised the true nature of the self. He became aware of a divine current within him that could never die. Soon after he came to this spot at the base of the holy mountain, he decided to remain here for the rest of his life. For long periods of time, his mind was in such a state of transcendence that he completely neglected his body, and he was incessantly bit by ants. Some people found him and realised that this was a holy man who was to become one of India's greatest spiritual teachers.
Nice experience, and we did what they call the arati, where they put the fire across the face to cleanse through the fire. So it was a very nice experience. Here we are now at the Trivanamali temple. We went in and we've done some Archana, which is like the part of the Nadi clearing. It's part of the remedies, and we've been in front of a number of Indian gods and done some amazing things. And actually I feel very almost high from it. It's an amazing place with an amazing sense of atmosphere and real deep sincerity from the priests that are working there.
It's been a hard day climbing the mountain and a late night on the tiles of the temples, but now it's 3 a.m. rise to walk around the holy mountain. And I'm shattered before I start. There is definitely something special about the subtle energy here. Even though the scenery is mainly sort of streets, there's a feeling of the energetic presence of the mountain with every step I take. Legend has it that Mount Archana is the place where Lord Shiva manifested as a column of light to settle the argument between the god Brahma and Vishnu. It is one of the holiest places in India, and many great saints and sages have lived here in its caves. The act of walking around it is called Giri Pradakshina, and it is said to remove the sins and desires and bring freedom from rebirth. One step, they say, brings happiness in this world, a second, happiness in heaven, and a third gives the bliss of Satya Loka, the ultimate heavenly plane. It is best to walk around slowly in silent meditation or chanting a japa mantra. Now we've gathered the spiritual energy from temples and the holy mountain, the Naadi Oracle tells me that I must now seek out a holy man. Mr. Rakesh has checked his almanac and the timing is now just right for us to do this. It's a long journey in a hot car with lots of detours, and it seems to me that Mr. Rakesh is using his almanac like a sat-nav. We drive across swamps, wastelands and dirt track roads in search of these elusive holy men. Then he spots the place where the Naadi leaves say that the Guru will appear. It's a rough dirt road and the engine sounds a bit strange. We are part way up the hilly dirty track of the sacred Mahadeva mountain and the car's broken down.
We've got to take our shoes off. We're in the ashram, and really this ground is like a grill. It's terrible. I'm not putting this on, it really is bad.
I'm just beginning to think that Providence has stopped us, but now I see this ash-covered guru appear from nowhere. If we hadn't broken down at this exact spot, we'd have missed him completely. When I arrive at his ashram, I'm told that he hasn't been seen for nearly a year. Normally, he does not leave his cave, where he's been living since 2002, where he gave up a life of luxury and wealth. But somehow, we've arrived at exactly the right moment he's decided to turn up. The Naadi Oracle saw this exact moment coming. It seems that I've now moved from sneaking up on a guru to a frenzied chase around the temple as he activates all the shrines to the various gods. Everything has gone kind of wild. All this racket is to wake the gods in the shrines. And we line up for more blessings and dash off to follow the holy man through this maze of shrines. Time for a quick tourist snap, and we're ready for the holy man to emerge. My head is beginning to ring with all this noise, but wait, I see him coming towards us. By any standards, Maha Swami is an odd-looking guru. He's what's called a Siddha yoga. That's someone who has special psychic powers and miraculous abilities. One of these is the ability to meditate or sleep in a pit of fire. I'm beginning to think this is all sounding a little bit crazy, but another power is his ability to tell the future of anyone who touches his feet. This yogi is also the custodian of ancient medicinal remedies and makes use of many rare herbs to cure all sorts of ailments. He also feeds people sacred ash called vibhuti, often to cure infertility. Maha Swami is already very old, and it's said that on midnight of the 25th of December 2002, Lord Shiva appeared before him and has decreed that he will live for another 1,000 years. He certainly has a strange aura. I feel it's like he's angry with everyone, but it's a sort of divine anger, perhaps somehow trying to shake everyone out of their spiritual sleep. I am told that this yogi never eats, and it is said that he has not eaten or taken water for a number of years. At temples, they usually give out what's called prasad, which is a holy meal. This is usually just a taster, but here they serve vast quantities of free food to worshippers. They say this man doesn't just walk through fire, he actually lays down in it and can sleep in the embers. I can see that he's going into a trance, and I hope he may start to make some prophecies. I feel he's showering blessings to anyone watching. This sight of a guru the Hindus call darshan is amazing. And then I'm called to touch his feet. Of all the people here, I couldn't believe that it was me that he would call. As I touched his feet, a divine energy seemed to sweep through me. He had a message for me that he told to Mr. Prakash in Tamil. It turned out to be exactly the same predictions that the other Naadi readers had already told me. this temple complex or ashram is based around the idea that the yogi, the Siddhi yogi, who's a sort of power yogi, stepped into the fire which was built for Shiva and merged with it and became flame himself. And this was witnessed by a whole group of people, and he was treated as an incredible saint. Now we have the blessings of a guru, the Naadi remedies now charge me to get the blessings of the planets. So it's a paddle in the water and into another temple. Here I'm to reduce the negative effects of the planet Mercury. This Naadi Oracle is completely different to the way Western astrology works. The sun, moon, planets and the stars are represented by gods, and they in turn symbolise our good and bad past life karma that will influence our future. According to the Nadis, I had past lives in India, and some glorious and some not so glorious past lives, and the planets in my horoscope reveal the areas I need to work with. Bad aspects shown in the position of Mercury in my chart will weigh down my ambitions, so pujas done here are said to speed up my success.
And we've come out of the Temple of Mercury, done puja there, and this is for things like quickness of mind, it's for speed of actions of things, many medicinal things associated with it, and a general quickening of our actions. Behind is a Shiva Tree of healing, and in particular it's for healing for children here, for infertility, hence the cots.
My mystical journey takes me deeper into sacred India to discover its secrets and find out more about the hidden oracle of India. There's spiritual work ahead. My journey will take me off the beaten track, but first we find a place to buy the materials and flowers we'll need to perform the puja. These I've been doing on the advice of the oracle. It tells me that I was once a holy man and will become a holy man again. When the pujas are performed, you pay the priest to perform a personal blessing. Money changes hands, but the effect is that the temples have money to feed the poor and do charitable work. In this way, money comes and goes, but virtue comes and grows.
They're going to do the puja now, and then they will give me the garland.
A lot of poor and destitute people hang around the ashram, as here people are fed twice a day ever since his death in 1823. Initially I get a personal blessing by the temple priest and then a second blessing by the sadhu in the nearby shrine. But there is a great mystery here, for it is claimed that he never actually died but went through a sort of resurrection in which his whole physical body was transformed into divine light. He then locked himself into a room and told his followers never to open it. When the authorities insisted it be opened, the room was completely empty. They say he continues to live with us in a body of light. I get my blessing that the Naadi Oracle asked for, and the priest gives me some books too. I feel instantly connected with this dead saint. He is said to have never eaten and eventually became a being of light. All strange stuff, but what a wonderful goal. Not to eat, but to make sure everyone else is fed long after you're dead.
I've just done the puja now for Ramalinga Swami, and they give me a book as well, a very rare book in English, so I can learn an awful lot more about this incredible saint that dealt with Jyoti, light.
Every step on this spiritual journey, doors just seem to swing open. It looks like the poor are gathering for mealtime. There's facilities here to accommodate hundreds every day.
This is the Samadhi Tomb of this incredible saint of light, and we might think of it as a tomb, but in actual fact he was locked into a room, or locked himself into a room, and his body just disintegrated into light, and when they did open it up there was nobody there. It's an incredible miracle.
As we are leaving, the Naadi Oracle has prescribed yet another puja blessing. By now I can really feel the energy surrounding us start to build, and I'm sure this must be having some tremendous effect upon my spirit and with my karmic debts. I am definitely buzzing with energy and feel really ready to burst. I can feel the energy changing in me as we draw closer to starting the Naadi remedies proper.
So we've been given the vibhuti in a packet, and this is like the symbol of Shiva, and you put it 3 lines across the forehead here, and it's and also to here, and it is used as a symbol of Shiva. This is actually the Samadhi Tomb, and not many Westerners get into here, so this is it. On the wall here we have all the stories and miracles of Ramalinga Swami.
And they are also giving me permission to see areas restricted to the normal visitor and some sacred trees and herbs that have special medical and spiritual properties.
That is the Neem tree that they grow here, which was there at the time of Swami, so when you touch it, it contains some of the blessing. Ramalinga Swami dissolved into light after his death, and at his temple here now, regular miracles happen in which people see a light appear. Once a month, the saint creates a light here, and thousands of people gather to watch the light appear in front of these doors. Regular miracles. And there's one other thing that I find personally rather incredible. This miracle happens every 24th of January. That's my birthday. Another weird Naadi coincidence.
Back in the grounds, the destitute continue to gather for their evening meal. It's nice to think that the money you give in these ceremonies helps to put food in hungry bellies. One thing they have that we don't have is time. These guys have been waiting all day. On the way out, we stop again. What I thought was a public toilet turns out to be another small temple. It's getting really late now, but we have a few more specific pujas to do before moving on. To be honest, I've lost track of what's next on the remedy list, but I have heard we have a big day tomorrow, a very long drive through the night, and a fire ceremony in the morning. I get my blessing and the gods get my garlands.
Tell your name.
Well, it's early morning and I've gone native. This stage we've got to now start the remedies themselves, so I have to dress appropriately. So I'm looking here like Shridi Baba.
So now it's another long journey. We have one more temple stop ahead, and then I do a very specific fire remedy to clear my karma. Our first remedial step is to pay homage to the leaves and to the Maharishi who wrote them. We start by visiting the temple that was built by the great king who was responsible for safeguarding the Naadi leaves and preserving them for posterity. Today there are Naadi readers absolutely everywhere in India, and only a tiny fraction of them are true practitioners. Most are just rip-off artists who will fleece people like me. It's interesting though how much value the ancients placed on these leaves that were protected by the kings of old who worshipped the leaves and built great temples like this one. Again we plunge into the dark heart of the temple that houses a huge lingam, which is a phallus-like stone that is an abstract representation of the god Shiva. I do the puja rituals in front of the lingam in the inner temple, and next have a chat with my interpreter Gopinath, who explains where we are.
So one of the biggest temples in India, called the
Gangai Gonda Sora Buram.
You got that? And inside is a giant Shiva Lingam which we've done our puja to, and this was the temple built by the king that protected the Naadi leaves.
With some of these impossible to pronounce names, it's not surprising that I sometimes feel completely lost in India, but I'm sure Gopinath can help me. Viewing the incredible temple, I'm impressed by its scale and grandeur. I've noticed that no matter what position the sun is, these temples never cast a shadow.
And now's the time to take a bit of a break and contemplate where we've come from with this and where we're going.
But my next stop is to take in some of this spiritual energy that we've been accumulating and float for a while through the tranquility of the mangroves. So what's this all been about so far? There were some pretty far-out predictions in the Oracle that was initially read to me by Skype at home and transcripts sent to me by email. The Oracle tells me of much spiritual work ahead for my wife Jane and me. We've been working very hard with our mediumship over the years, but it says that in the future we will be able to do our work for free. This will be achieved, it says, by setting up a charitable trust, a foundation, so that we can travel and do our work and open centres around the world.
Forest yogi. Yes, nice. Yeah.
Om Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitu Varenyam.
The Gayatri mantra is very beautiful, so long as it's chanted by someone other than me.
Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Divasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat.
Om Gajamonaya Namaha. Om Kartiyaya Namaha. Om Ashtalashmiye Namaha. Om Vishnuve Namaha. Om.
These rituals at Mr. Prakesh's offices are the start of the remedies proper. The first step is to pay homage to these incredible leaves that have been transcribed down through the centuries and hold the secrets of my past life, my present life and my destiny. And of course, we bow to the great Maharishis whose incredible clairvoyance made all this possible. Once this rather smoky procedure is complete, we can do my first major karmic remedy by doing something that will completely change a person's life. In India, the old and the destitute have no big pensions and welfare, but if they own a cow, they are set up as it provides milk, fuel and a guaranteed income. Buying a cow at a good price from someone in debt can also free them from problems too. So let's go do a remedy. Let's buy a cow and a calf.
For a few moments we actually own a cow and a calf, part of the remedies. And we've also been waiting for the planets to move and Mercury to get in the right place for the right time to give this cow and calf away to a poor person. Isn't it? The lady's just arrived. She doesn't speak English, but she's a poor lady and we're going to give her the cow and the calf and hopefully it'll completely transform her life.
If you directly do someone a good turn, they will often think good thoughts about you. We spiritualists believe that thoughts are things, so that these positive thoughts will uplift the giver and also help to break their karmic bonds.
Catch it and do behind. Take some photos. This is good.
Thank you much. Our எடுத்துவார் நீ அங்கேயே பாத்து.
Yes, yes.
choked up actually.
Yeah.
Very sensitive cow, I think.
Yeah,
Very sensitive.
energetic.
I found the whole action of giving the lady a cow and calf quite moving. Perhaps it was energetic changes to my karma, or maybe it was the feeling of honour that came from being able to do something so humbling. I changed a person's life. That's a big deal to take on board.
Quite careful.
A few days ago we got stuck on a dirt road on a mountainside with a boiling radiator, and now we've got all the luggage coming off and trying to rope it back on from the car after leaving a ropey hotel.
Now for my next remedy. We strip to the waist, I reveal my flag to the world, and we begin the ceremony. A great deal of preparation has gone into this ceremony, and we have gathered together many special herbs from all over India. Everything here has been specially put together for the ceremony and will be dismantled afterwards. My finger is tied as a symbol of being connected to the benevolent powers from the gods. It's a bit like the tying of the knot from a pre-Christian wedding ceremony. I'm not sure why I have to bang my temples, maybe an awakening of some kind? Next, I have to give my name, mother's name, father's name, wife's name, and so on.
Craig.
Craig.
Craig. Donald. 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 Ethel. My wife.
It strikes me that the names and their order are exactly the same as the details that were written in the Naadi leaves when I first consulted them. I tell the priest the information, but the Naadi Oracle had known this information thousands of years ago. It gives me that eerie feeling that the ancient seers had seen this moment. Strange things run through my mind as we invoke the gods, and I open myself to the hypnotic power of the rituals. One priest gives fragrant flower offerings to the gods. while we prepare to cast 108 aromatic and medicinal herbs into the fires. First, I have to carry the fruit offerings clockwise round the temple. These are now put to the consecrated fires. All this is to help me clear my past and ward off evil influences in the future. Like the phoenix, the spirit is reborn. As the fire burns, so does my karmic debt. The residues from herbs and ambers of the fires are considered especially sacred and will be used to make a special paste that I can use later in times of need. I now bless the offerings that have been assembled. My soul has been baptized in the fire. As the sun is considered to be the source of life, so fire is its agent on earth. I find this whole concept very inspiring as I feel it triggers deep down in my unconscious mind feelings that put me directly in touch with archaic memories from mankind's ancient past. Some of the things I am placing in the fire are said to transmit medicinal smoke that cures lots of diseases. Some of these herbs are very rare indeed and found only in obscure areas of the Himalayas. Jeez, that's cold. I really am gasping for breath. Talk about an ice bucket challenge. Well, that's it done. Some of it took me by surprise, but I did feel that something was also happening on an energetic level. Call it psychological if you like, but I felt something going on in the very depths of my being. Something that is really impossible to describe unless you've opened yourself to these things.
Okay, well, I'm feeling quite extraordinary. I mean, you don't do that very often. But if I think about it, it's a bit really like a ritual of rebirth, because the fire gets rid of the old, and then you're reborn by water upon you, which is like rebirth in the womb. So, in a spiritual sense, it's something that very, very ancient, that would take you back to the most ancient times. So it's a very deep-rooted unconscious ritual, which I certainly feel has happened and worked somehow.
My next remedy is to be conducted hundreds of miles away at Valankani. Before visiting more holy places and being thrown into more rituals, we take a stroll on the beach. Maybe I can buy an ice cream here. I just love the pageant of India. You can buy everything here except ice creams. Maybe a goat? I love the way people get into the sea fully dressed. But first, a walk along a delightful clean beach and broad walk before visiting a few more temples for puja. Mr. Prakash tells me about this place and explains that it was badly hit by the tsunami on December the 26th, 2004. People were bathing happily, just like today, when the sea sunk back and then stampeded onto the shore, drowning thousands. The sea came right up these streets too, and didn't stop until it got to the church I can see there in the distance. It is interesting how the Naadi remedies have asked me to also take in a Christian site as well as Hindu temples. This is in preparation for my next charitable work that will be part of the remedies. When you think about it, all religions are much the same at heart. Their messages are about love and service to others, and they all believe in the one God, a God that is omnipresent, that is everywhere at the same time. And just like the gods of India, the one God can take many forms, and the universal truths are expressed through divinely charged saints, teachers, avatars, prophets and messiahs. It strikes me that they are all saying exactly the same thing. I've seen a lot of charitable acts while I've been in India. I've noticed that some of the poorest people I've met are the most generous of all, and are only too keen to share the little they have with me. Now it's my turn to do another of the prescribed remedies. When you feed a stranger, it is a powerful medicine, for not only do you help them, but their positive thoughts towards you help your own spirit to flower. It's an antidote to bad karma.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning and I've just finished my hatha yoga, and now we're going to do some meditation on the beach. This would be like a final rebirth, the sun coming up, showing the change of the personality and one's life due to the remedies.
After all these rituals, I hope my life from now on will run smoothly. It's getting to the point now that I'm really beginning to feel India seeping into my soul and causing huge inner changes. There's certainly a light dawning within me. I feel more and more focused within, so that whatever happens sort of out there in the world is caused by what's happening in here, in me. The nature of the self is like light, it's joyful and happy. Once we are focused on the inner light, we need travel no further, for we have found an unshakable happiness that nothing can harm. Need we ever move from this present moment? The past is gone, the future, it seems, is already set and may have already happened. But the present moment is God's gift and is there forever. There is something deeply spiritual about India. The official name of India is Bharat, which itself comes from the name of a god of fire and light, like the sun itself. Where else in the world would so many people gather every morning at a viewpoint like this one to simply watch the sun rise? As I wait, ready to set off to do my next series of rituals and remedies, dawn brings to mind notions of illumination and hope with a chance for happiness and improvement. The next remedy I have to do is to wash away the negative karma from my past lives. I have been travelling India to do a series of spiritual remedies that the Naadi astrologers have said is the result of my former life as an Indian Rishi. The rituals dictate that my first step today must be into the sea. My astrologer guides are now taking me to new holy places to learn more of the philosophy of India. As I return to the mainland, my thoughts and feelings are elsewhere. The Naadi prophecies that have brought me on this journey are from another time, a time when people could see the future of all of us. I wonder what is in store for all of us travelling together in this life. We are told by many prophets that there will be cataclysmic things ahead, but our journey will take us from the spiritually dark ages into a brighter time. The Vedic texts say that many people will, like I'm doing here, seek out their own salvation and personal transformation. And this will be free of the dictates of sect, creed and cause, and will unite us all as one family of mankind. On my return from Ramaswaram, I crossed the Panban Bridge, and I'm reminded that this area of shallow waters and reefs connects in a thin line all the way to Sri Lanka. Ahead of me there's now a long journey. I'm heading towards a temple on the way to do the last of my karmic remedies. It's been a punishing schedule, travelling day and night with journeys back and forth to fit in with the best astrological conditions. Driving in India is far from relaxing. Sometimes it's a white-knuckle ride on roads that have huge potholes and sometimes come to abrupt stops.
Well, it looks like we've broken down again. We've done a few hundred miles and we're in another garage. This is our luxury Indian vehicle for the next few weeks. The only optional extras you need are air conditioning and a horn. Eventually, we're on our way again, and it's a long drive into the night. I'm barely conscious as we speed towards our next spiritual destination. For me, this journey that's been dictated by the Naadi Oracles has brought me many spiritual changes, but there's still many things on my mind.
There's a lot I need to understand, and in particular I need to ask Mr. Prakash, my astrological guide, about the things that the ash-covered Siddhar yogi said and what he predicted for me. Maybe I will get a chance to ask when we get to the temple. Finally, we arrive at our destination, and I feel as tired and as exposed as these many stray dogs that hang around this place. I had no idea where I was being taken, but I eventually find out that we're at another tongue-twisting Shiva temple called Brihadeswara in Thanjore. The locals call it the Big Temple, which suits me fine. The Naadi astrologer, Mr. Prakash, is now going to tell me about what the Siddhar yogi Maha Ananda Swami predicted for me when I touched his feet at the ashram.
Because we've now we've finished all the remedies, and we've finished all the things, pujas and everything like that, and we've been, I think, very lucky, haven't we?
கிரேக்குக்கு என்ன சொன்னார்னா, உன்னுடைய எதிர்காலம் சிறப்பாக இருக்கும், ஆன்மீகத்தில் நீ தொடர்ந்து சேவை செய்வ, உன்னுடைய ஹெல்த் நல்லாயிருக்கும், உனக்கு பிஸ்னஸ் நல்லாயிருக்கும், குடும்பத்தில் ஒற்றுமை இருக்கும், அமைதி, சந்தோஷம், உனக்கு இனிமேல் பீஸ்ஃபுல்லான வாழ்க்கை தான் கிடைக்கும். நீ நினச்சதெல்லாம் நடக்கும், ஆனால் ஸ்பிரிச்சுவலாக தான் நடக்கும்.
He told you, for all the peoples, he just blessed with 1 or 2 words. But he told you a lot. That is, your family will be good, you won't have any such separation in your family, and your business will be developed into a high level. But your destiny is you have to spend your life in spirituality. And to do service in spirituality, you will be a famous person and you will do service in the worldwide.
நீண்ட காலம் வாழ்வ.
You will have a long life, eternal life, as blessed by him.
நீண்ட காலம் வாழ்வுன்னு நம்ம விளக்கி சொல்றான். தீர்க்காயுள்ன்றார். ஒரே வார்த்தை தீர்க்காயுள்.
In Tamil, he told this as தீர்க்காயுள்.
தீர்க்காயுள் means நீண்ட காலம் வாழ்வாய். அப்படி இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொல்றாங்க.
தீர்க்காயுள் means you will live for a long period.
Live for a long time.
Yes.
This is the blessing given by him.
Did he say something also about building centres and things like this?
Yeah, that we told, no?
Yeah.
You will be a famous man around the temples, you will do service around the world. That is by spreading the orphanage centers, it may be, spiritual centers maybe, Naadi centers maybe,
Yes.
like these things.
Because this is so interesting, because my very first Naadi reading that you know nothing about said exactly that. So it's come kind of full circle, you know, the first things that I was told and the last things that I was told are the same. So it sounds like destiny has played a part here, I think.
I thought I was at the end of my journey, but it seems the real journey is just beginning.
Whatever temples you visited, after getting some good things in your life, after getting some blessings from them in your life, if you have a good development, once again if you visit this and you to thank the God, it will be good to your life.
தொடர்ந்து மேல மேல நல்ல
It
ஒரு
will be a highly
power இன்னும் அதிகமா
your life. Thanksgiving is a good potential performance to all the gods. Yes.
வந்தாலும் வரலனாலும் பிரச்சனை இல்ல. ஆனா
Maybe they are just flattering me, but all this was already told to me by other Naadi readers that are unknown to my new friends here.
Again, after achieving all those things what you prayed, it will be good to you.
கடவுள் பார்த்துட்டே இருப்பார்.
God will watch you at all times.
Yes. That's correct.
God will watch me at all times. What a lovely thought.
எத்தனை தண்ணி பஞ்சபூதங்கள் இல்ல.
What an amazing place to get such spiritual messages. In fact, the temple walls are covered in Tamil messages to and from the gods. This lovely place has the feeling of being in some heavenly world. The beautiful carvings and the way the soft light plays on the stone feels like I'm walking through an ethereal place. Inside, there's a god to get blessings from. And when it comes to Shiva lingams, this place goes for it big time. My mum would call it a wholesale outlet. What I find most interesting is the Tamil writing carved on the walls. This temple is over 1,000 years old, and the inscriptions are in Old Tamil, which is a simpler form of writing with no flourishes. Gopi tells me all about this and how many of these walls have similar remedies to the ones that are shown in the Naadi leaves. It makes me think that the rishis who wrote these leaves may have also known about places like this. They say that this place was impossible to build with the technology of the time. It's all made of granite, and the capstone at the top of the temple weighs over 80 tons, and legends say that the ancients used magic mantras to levitate it into place.
One more tea, maybe I can get a royalty.
And I'll have some of your best cuisine to go, please.
Another journey, another garage.
There is actually one more last remedy to perform, and I have a feeling that this is going to be one of the most emotionally testing experiences. This is a hospice that's mainly for mentally and physically challenged children, and I know that they keep things on a shoestring. My last astrological prescribed remedy is to feed them.
Yeah, that's good.
Doing this makes me think of Jane back home. For 7 years, she was a psychiatric nurse for children and did lots of work like this. It's kind of a strange coincidence. I'm thinking of my own children and grandchildren. What lessons we can learn from these shining eyes. How I'd love it if there were more people in my profession, that is astrologers, psychics and mediums, were to be less concerned about money and kudos, but actually use some of the proceeds from their spiritual work to help people.
ஒன்றும் இல்லை கிரேப் இங்கிலாந்து நாட்டில் நமக்கு உணவு கொடுக்குறாங்க. அப்புறம் பிள்ளைங்கள தமிழில் சொன்னாலும் இதை அப்படியே போய்ட்டு அவர் அங்கே நம்ம தமிழ் ஆட்கள் 5 பேர் வச்சுருக்காங்க. ஆமாம், தமிழ்லேயே சொல்ல சொல்கிறாங்க.
I've now been asked to open the new Naadi Centre. They treat me like family. They have good hearts that shows in their smiles. Poor people from the village have been invited to an alfresco dining on the rooftop. If you want to clear your own path, then there is nothing better than to physically put food on a poor person's plate. It's all so very, very easy. Just get out there and do it. And even if you think that all this astrology is just a load of hocus pocus, you can't deny that this path we are following here is helping the world. Okay, I'm here now to do the opening of the new Shiva Naadi Centre. These are the people that did my leaves originally, and it's a great honour to be doing this really, because when I first consulted the Naadi, I wanted to find a way that I could do my mediumistic and my spiritual work free of charge. And it's kind of worked out really, because this is what the Naadi people are doing. We're doing it for free. There's no hidden, there's no upsell or anything like that. This is done for free to help people. And even here, people are being fed as I speak. And we're going to do a wonderful opening, and I'm really looking forward to this. I pass through the auspicious banana tree gate that they've made specially for this occasion and take the scissors. I now open the puja area where the prayers are given. Open for the benefit of all. My hope is that just as some of the Naadi readers are trying to counteract the rip-off merchants in their industry, so too I may be able to set an example to Western astrologers, psychics and mediums to clean up our act. It's okay to earn a living, but also try to put a bit back and encourage your clients to join in the charitable work too. In this way, we all clear the karma and have more fortunate lives.
Yes, ready? Shall I say something?
Yes. Yeah.
May this thrive and may it help everybody, and may it prosper all, and may people find themselves, their fortunes, their destiny, and find their divine self. Yeah, right there.
ஓம் சந்திரனாய நமக, ஓம் குருவாய நமக, ஓம் வெள்ளியாய நமக, ஓம் சனியாய நமக, ஓம் ராகுவே நமக, ஓம் கேதுவே நமக, ஓம்
As a final honour, Mr. Prakash is going to give me some lessons in reading the Naadi leaves. You don't have to be clairvoyant to do this, as it's simply a matter of reading the predictions and remedies that were written in these leaves thousands of years ago. Carbon dating shows the leaves to be about 500 years old, but the claim is that they have been copied and recopied hundreds of times over many thousands of years. He chants the Tamil text of the leaves and they're translated. Listen carefully, this randomly selected leaf could be yours.
Our parents are alive.
Yes.
இவங்க கிடையாது, பொதுவா இது பொதுவான ஒரு ஆளோட.
It is common. We are telling it common.
இது உங்களோடது கிடையாது. வேற ஒருத்தரோடது.
Whatever we are telling to the clients
Yes.
while reading, that is to be done here as a demo.
Okay.
Like A, E, I. அறிந்தடவே இவன் நாமம் இலோனா என்றழைக்க. Your second name is Ilona.
Second name is Ilona. First husband is separated.
அறிவிக்காமன் வழியில் சேயாளும் ஈராய் சொல்ல.
There is
The Naadi palm leaves are all based around astrology, and they tell you information about yourself, and based upon what you've done in past lives determines what will happen to you now and in the future. And of course, we're not going to be stuck with a bad karma. The idea of the leaves is that through a remedy we can change the bad karma, make it less, and up and increase the good karma by doing various good actions and spiritual ritual. When a person consults the Naadi leaves, if they're unable to come and do the rituals, they can have someone else do them by proxy. So a feeding can be done, or the temple rituals can be done by somebody else. But it's far more powerful and far more meaningful to a person if they actually come here and do it themselves. And even though for me it's been a hard and long journey and a hard trip across some very rural areas of India, I think it's really worth it to actually get out there and do it yourself. The physical journey's over, and now I'm reflecting on the inner journey that's happened to me, the changes that have taken place in my soul.
As a typical Westerner visiting India, I feel conscious that I have come from a country of great materialism and comforts, where spirituality has been lost and is now replaced by rampant rationality. If India's temples crumble to dust and its teachings were ever lost, how poorer still would the world become? The writing is on the wall. We all know that the world is heading towards catastrophe if we do not change our ways. And perhaps these Naadi teachings are there to help us to put a brake on materialism and to rediscover a spiritual heritage that's there for everyone, no matter what your religion or nationality. The Promethean fires still burn, and the lost knowledge of the ancients is still there for us to discover. Treading where holy men have walked reminds me that this has been an inner journey. My destiny has been predicted, and I have been helped by the astrologers and their teachings to understand better the reason I have been placed upon this earth. The teachings are as old as the hills. The oracle that inspired me is thousands of years old, and yet there is nothing really new. It's the same journey we take now as the ancients had to take. We just need to have the courage to open into the divinity within us. In every face I see is a little of that divine light that India's teachings take us towards. Spiritual teachings are not just something remote, but are anchored in everyday life, in the things we do. There can be worship even in the simplest of work. We are all evolving, not just as physical beings, but spiritually too. The teachings tell us that our soul has evolved from animal into human, and our time on earth now, in human form, is an opportunity to become fully awakened. And that's why so many take to the spiritual path, touch the feet of gurus, and seek the solace of meditation. I have thrown myself into mystic India and undertaken rituals that many would find perplexing. I have had the blessings of the gods and of holy people and holy places, and have done many rituals to open the path that the oracle predicts will happen. Some of this has been a cultural shock, but I feel that it is leading me to the light. My adventure has taken me thousands of miles across India, and I have enjoyed places that few Westerners visit. But it has taught me also the importance of charity. As we give to others, their good thoughts projected towards us help us to evolve too. It's a win-win situation. And of course, helping others is part of the Christian message too, and the Muslim message, and the Buddhist and Jewish message. I think I have learned that there is not much difference between it all. It's an adventure doing spiritual things, and when people get really helped and you see their lives quickly changed, it opens your heart wide. Will all these strange astrological remedies change things? I have done the rituals, and I have burnt the karma. I have thrown the past into the flames. I have taken my journey and explored my soul. I have cut the ties with my karma, and now a new destiny awaits.
India's just the start. Indian culture believes that it goes back 10,000 years to an ancient lost knowledge, and that same lost knowledge is in other cultures, other religions, other beliefs. So come with me on my next adventure. Well, I hope you've been inspired by Mystic Journey to India. It was certainly an inspiring adventure for me. But the most important thing and message I'd like to put to you from this is that Jane and I are doing our work for free, or a large part of our work for free as mediums, in our public work and so on. And also through this YouTube channel as well. And you can help us by either giving a large donation or a small donation, or particularly by becoming a patron of this site. Because if you become a patron, you can give a small amount each month to help support the spiritual work we're trying to do. First of all, it's going to be online. But as the Nadis told me, and that guru you remember in the fire told us, we will be opening these centres all over the world. We want to open spiritual centres to reach out and help people. And this isn't a religious thing. This is something that I hope can extend beyond all religion. It can draw from all sources. It draws from the Indian stuff, but also from the Western stuff as well. And if you help us through our foundation, you too can help to change the world. And at the same time, you know, you help your own karma too. It helps you to reduce the negative effects of your past karma. So do please become a patron. Have a look at the links in the description below, or have a look at the website address that's coming up on screen now. And you can help us move this inspiring remit forward. If you're enjoying these mystic talks, you will enjoy my books, available now in paperback, on Kindle or on Audible.